Hey there, folks. So this is the recording of class from today, Wednesday, September 16th. We're going to go over some measurement and conversion practice, and I'm going to show you guys how to do your Schoology quiz, which is tomorrow, not Friday. It's tomorrow on Thursday because of the shortened week. And the formatting of the quiz is a little bit different than ones you've taken from me already. So make sure you pay attention to exactly how you should submit questions on the quiz coming up tomorrow. Okay. So, like I said, this week 4 quiz will be over conversions and measurements, and that's what we're going to practice today in class. It will be about 30 points and about 8 questions, plus or minus a little bit there. And again, the quiz is on Thursday, so don't forget to take your quiz on Thursday, not Friday. Okay, so the first thing we talked about was what are the SI, the standard international units for these different types of measurement. I would pause the video right now and write these down on your own before I go over the answers. Okay, so volume here. Well, don't talk to me about gallons anymore. Talk to me about liters. It's capital L for those. Mass, we're not talking about pounds, baby. We're talking about grams, lowercase g. Length, don't throw miles, inches, feet my way. Those are ugly America units. We're talking about meters. And temperature, not Fahrenheit, but Celsius with a capital C. So again, if you go to a different country, you go to Japan, Australia, South Africa, Argentina, it doesn't matter. If you go to different countries around the world, these are the accepted units in the scientific community, okay? So make sure you know what are the proper base units for any type of measurement. Okay, so now we're going to do some practice on Schoology. So on the left, we have a couple of things. So pretend that this is your notebook paper for tomorrow's quiz. And this chart right here, you'll be given everything in this chart, okay, tomorrow. Every question that you need this on, it will have it. So you don't have to memorize anything in this chart. And I have highlighted here the distance gateway. Remember, if you're going from American units to international or vice versa, for any kind of distance or length, you'll have to go through this conversion here at some point. It's sort of your gateway. Now, okay, so let's pretend I'm you. I'm taking my quiz. So I click on Thursday. Now, you'll click on the measuring and conversions quiz. That's what you're actually going to take. But I'm going to click on the practice one. And I'm going to go ahead and do a preview of this quiz so you can see exactly what it'll look like. Okay. So the first question, it asks you to measure the length of something. So it's asking you to measure, I'm going to go with the length of this box. So how do I do that? Well, you click on this little ruler icon and a ruler appears. And you need to focus on some things about this ruler first. So you want to go ahead and focus on what are the increments on this ruler. So I see that it at least has the ones place for centimeters, and it even has tenths place, so 0.1 place on the ruler. So those are going to be my knowns. And so what that means is I need to give a measurement that provides the ones place, the tenths place, because those are known. And I also actually have to go one place after that. Remember, we always estimate one spot beyond what the increments on our measuring device can tell us. So our measurement needs to go to the hundredths place. So I'm going to go ahead and take this up to the edge of this rectangle here. Now you'll notice this is coming in just about 7.5. I can blow this up a little bit. I just want to make sure that the ruler doesn't change. So look, it's at 7.5 still. I can kind of keep blowing this up as long as the ruler doesn't sort of change on me. Some people's computers, the ruler will get a little funky on them. So look, mine's still at 7.5, that's fine. But like, for example, there is a point, if I really blow this ruler up, where it sort of changes sizes. Let's see here. Maybe I gotta get a little bit smaller. Oh no. Let's see. Okay, yeah, look. So now all of a sudden the box is measuring at like just under 3 centimeters. Okay, so something's gone wrong. So you can only kind of blow the screen up so far. But you should be able to blow up a little bit if you need to. So if I'm looking at this, okay, this looks like it's coming in. I would bet $1 million at 7 something. I would bet $1 million at 7 point, looks like 6 something. I kind of adjust this right there. And so I'm going to go ahead and say it's about 7.6. Oh yeah, 7.63. That seems reasonable. And so I kind of click that from the drop down and off I go. Okay, now the next question is a conversion. And you'll see that the formatting is a little bit different than you're used to, okay? Now you have the chart in there and everything. So what I want you to do is, when you get to these conversion problems, I want you to do the whole thing on your separate sheet of notebook paper and then fill in the Schoology questions afterwards. Okay, so I'm looking at this problem, and it's asking me, hey, convert 35 meters into miles. So I'm going to start as I always do. I will start with 35 meters over 1, because that's my given. Now I'm thinking to myself, do I want meters in the final answer? No, so I have to get rid of the meter units. That means that meters will have to be on the bottom of my next fraction. Now, I notice I'm going from meters, which is an international unit, to miles, which is an American unit. That tells me I'm going to have to go through the distance gateway at some point. And so I'm looking at this like, okay, I want to get to centimeters or inches. Well, if I'm in meters already, maybe I'll convert that to centimeters. So I'll put centimeters here. Notice how I haven't written any numbers yet. I'm just focusing on the units. So some people, they're like, okay, do I multiply by 100 on top here? Do I divide it by 100 on the bottom here? How do I know? If you focus on the units first, that should become very clear to you. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay, it's 100 centimeters and 1 meter. So the 100 goes with the centimeters, and the 1 goes with the meter. And that's really obvious as long as you're focusing on the units first. So notice how organized I'm being. So there go the meters. Those are gone. All right, I'm in centimeters now. That's not what I want my final answer to be in, though, so I know that I need to keep going. Okay, so centimeters has got to go, so I know that centimeters belongs on the bottom of the next one. And as I've done a lot of practice, I'm starting to realize, okay, I want to go towards that distance gateway. So I'm going to use this right here. So I want to go from centimeters to inches. Do I put the 2.54 on top or bottom? Well, it goes with the centimeters, so it belongs on the bottom. Now, some people will think to themselves, oh, yeah, the 1 always goes on the bottom. That's not the case. It's all about the units. Focus on those units. So I'm canceling those out. I'm in inches now. I want my final answer to be in miles, though, so I still need to keep going. I'm not done until I have the final units I want. So inches have to go. I can't convert inches directly into miles, but I can convert them into feet. So here we go. I got feet on top. Focusing on those units before the numbers. 12 inches goes with 1 foot. I'm canceling out those inches units. I don't want my final answer in feet, though, so I need to still keep going. Okay, here we go. So I know feet's got to be on the bottom of this next one. And I want to convert it to miles, and so I'll have that on the top of this final one. Put MI for miles. So I got 5,000. It's going to be hard to squeeze this in there. 280 feet for the 1 mile. Boom, boom. Okay, so I now finally have the units that I want. So I know I'm done with my tallying up of different conversions. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to calculate this. So I'm going to multiply all of my numerators. So 35 times 100 times 1 times 1 times 1. So on top, I'll have 3,500. On the denominator, I'll have 1 times 2.54 times 12 times 5,280. So if I plug that into my calculator, 1 times 2.54 times 12 times 5,280. That comes out to be 160,934. Okay, so 160,934. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3,500. I'm going to divide 160,000, or divide that by 160,934. That comes out to be about 0.0217. How many decimals do I keep, Mr. Pilcher? Don't get too worried about that for now. Just keep a couple of them. I'll actually give you specific rules on what decimals to keep next week. So, all right, so now I've done the whole problem. Here's my final answer. And so now I'm going to go over to Schoology. Finally, I'm going to go over to Schoology and answer this. So it says, for any step in which you do not place a conversion, please place not needed. So I'm going to basically put all my steps in here. So my given, that was 35 over 1 meters, plop. Step 1, well, that was 100 centimeters over 1 meter. So I got to find that here, 100 centimeters over 1 meter. Step 2 was 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters. Boom, plop that there. Then I got 1 foot over 12 inches. Then I have 1 mile over 5,280 feet. And then I was done. There weren't any steps after that. So I need to place not needed in every empty box. Okay? So with some questions, let's pretend for a moment that I was done after these steps right here. Then what I would answer is I'd put not needed in all of these last 3 boxes. Okay? So you need to put not needed in every box. Don't leave, or every box that you don't need. Don't leave any of these boxes blank. They all need to be filled with something. Okay? Now, in this problem, we do know that the final answer should have this right here and this right there. So that's how we get full credit. Now, in the very next question, it's the same calculation, just asking, using your work from the previous question, what is your final calculation? And that's where this guy in the box here comes from. So I had 0.0217 miles. I'm like, oh, here it is, 0.022 miles. Sure. And you hit next, and then you'll have a couple more questions that are pretty similar to that. So that's how things work. Make sure you hit submit at the end of your quiz. And let me know if you have any questions after watching this video before you take your quiz, okay? All right, folks. I'll see you, nerds. Good luck on your quiz.